Hi, folks. School's back in session now, right? And that means more kids walking and crossing busy streets. And we are going to see that now.
We are. And
for the school season.
Families need to know about safety in crosswalks, in school zones, and just the different levels of liability, if you will, with respect to being a pedestrian, being on a bike, walking, all those kinds of things in crosswalks or school zones. So that's what we're here to talk about.
I'm Chris Canterbury.
I'm Michaela Canterbury. We're from Kelley Canterbury.
And
Alaska's Legal Beagles.
Yeah, so I think we all know that there are school zones, and you have to be vigilant for those zones. And as a driver, you've got to be aware that, hey, I've got to reduce my speed to 20 miles an hour, no more than that, when you're approaching a school zone during school hours.
Sure, and hard stop if those lights are on, if there's a, back in the day when we were going to school, there was a person that had a sign, the stop sign.
Yeah, sometimes people get confused about, when does this really apply? Because sometimes the lights aren't on, or, you don't see the guard, and what am I supposed to do?
Right, it's summer, is it still a school zone?
I mean, generally, the policy is that they're supposed to put their warning signs out there 30 minutes before school's going to start until 10 minutes after school has started. And then again at the end of the day, they got to be out there 10 minutes before school starts and 30 minutes or before it ends and 30 minutes after it's ended. So that's really the time zone that you as a driver should be aware. Hey, school's going to start, or school was ending.
Yeah, but here's the deal, drivers. It's a school. There's going to be kids. And even if it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes after, there might be hockey practice, there might be football practice. Kids are still, there might be after school, campfire is what we called it for our kids. But I mean, kids are still coming, families are still coming and going. So just use reasonable care in any kind of intersection, in any crosswalk, let alone school zone.
Well, there is definitely a heightened duty of care probably approaching a school zone as a driver.
Sure.
You have to be aware of. And talking about crosswalks generally, from a parenting standpoint, if your kids are using the crosswalks, I mean, we all know that a pedestrian in the crosswalk has the right of way. And so, as a driver, you got to stop regardless of what time of day it is or anything if you see somebody in a crosswalk.
But they were jaywalking. No.
Right.
Pedestrian has the right of way.
Sometimes we see things like, hey, but what about the kids like on his little bicycle going across the crosswalk? And really, you have to be vigilant of that and stop if you can and avoid it. But parents need to be watching their children to say, look, if you're going to be a pedestrian with a right of way in a crosswalk, then be a pedestrian. Get off your bike, walk it across. Technically, people on bikes are considered vehicles at that point. So, if you're going to be approaching a crosswalk and you're going to zip across on your bike, you don't have the right of way over a car coming through. All right. You'd have to yield to oncoming traffic that was approaching the intersection on there before you made that.
Right.
But if you're walking as a pedestrian, you do have the right of way through.
So, mom and dad, this is a good opportunity to teach these to the kiddos: is get off the bike and walk the bike across.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that where families are out there and they're biking and they're spending time that way. But it's important everybody get off their bike and walk it across.
And there are a lot of things that happen with personal injuries that occur from car pedestrians involving kids. When kids are involved, there are some differences on your statute of limitations that apply in these situations. There's also rules like the court has to approve any kind of, settlements or resolutions involving minors. They oversee the fairness of those results.
They do. They approve the settlement. So they just make sure that the money is there for the kids, that it isn't spent on something else. It goes for the kids, whether they need future medical expenses, those kinds of things. So that's why they have to be court approved.
If you need any help regarding, school safety and issues that arise,
crosswalks, pedestrian injuries, give us a call.
That's right. We're here for you, on your side, at your side, every step of the way. KelleyandCanterbury.com.